Today we discuss the case of equilibrium criteria for transition stability analysis, right? And we start from this slide today, and here we discuss the case of instability. So, if you recall back to the previous slide, the slide which we have discussed yesterday, what we find here that uh, for this P delta characteristic as shown at this instant, when the fault takes place, electrical power drops to 0 and angle increases here. But we say that angle fault gets over as the angle increases during the period of angle increase, fault gets over, and then the circuit breaker is able to reclose the line at this angle here, right? And thereafter rotor angle accelerates here. In fact, it will be deaccelerating, but rotor angle continues to increase, and it will increase up to this one. So thus we have defined area 2 here, and which is limited by delta m here now. So for this example, area 2 is made equal to area 1 here, so that stability is defined and equilibrium criteria also remains here. Now, if in case we say that, because we discussed the instability case, so let us consider that there is a delay. The fault takes place, angle continues to increase, fault is over, right? Fault is over. Let's say the fault duration was 50 milliseconds, 60 milliseconds, so it was a temporary fault, so fault is over. But there is a delay in the operation of a breaker now. So let us say that breaker will reclose the line when the angle has increased up to this one. It is after delta C. So if in case, because of some malfunctioning of the breaker, let's say the reclosing of the line takes place here, then at this instant PE will become this point, and then again rotor will continue to increase here, right? It will continue to increase along this P delta characteristic, and let's say that it is up to this one. We have the delta M now. Now for this example, what you find here, that if that means if there is a delay in the reclosing of the line beyond critical angle, right? In that case, it will be always A2 area being less than A1 area. So that means if you have a delay in the reclosing of the line beyond delta C, it will be always A2 area less than A1 area. So that means it will be the critical angle which will make A2 equal to A1 in any case, right? If there is a delay in the reclosing of the line beyond, for an angle beyond delta C, it will be always A2 less than A1. And in that case, what you find here, that acceleration area is more than deceleration area, and thus the two areas will never be equal. And here I can say that generator load angle will then cross delta M here. It is positive, beyond which the electrical power will be less than the mechanical. Because if the, let's say if the delta reaches over here, then in that case delta P is more, and then accelerating power, in this case what you find here, that it will be always positive, and the generator will therefore start accelerating before it slows down completely and system becomes unstable. So for such situation, there is always a case where the acceleration will be more than deceleration, and as such the system is most likely to become unstable, and thereby you can say that it will never reach to the steady state point or the new equilibrium point, the initial point. It will never reach actually here. Now for this case, as I said, now if in case this is another one, right? The previous was where you have A1 greater than A2 here. Now if in case A1 is less than A2, right? Now what we saw here, that the deceleration area is larger than accelerating area, the machine will deaccelerate completely before accelerating again. So as in this case, what you observe, the PE drops to 0, angle increases, and let's say that I have actually moved delta C further towards the left hand side actually. Let's say that it is something towards the left hand side. So let's say that you are reclosing the line, let's say a little bit before the angle reaches to the delta C here. It is something like this, right? Then in that case, what you have to say actually? In this case, you find that A2 is little bit more than A1. So here actually it is deceleration, and here it is acceleration here, right? So can you say something about the stability? Because in this case, A2 will be always more than A1. So that means deceleration region is more than acceleration region. For this case, it is always possible that the system will reach to the steady state. So that means it is not always true that to get the steady state equilibrium or steady state stability, that means the system is restored to the normal condition. It is not always true that A2 is equal to A1. In this case, you find that if in case A2 is more than A1, in this case as well, the machine can reach to the steady state condition. It is possible because whatever the energy which is stored here during this period, right, as the rotor changes its angle position to this one. So during this movement, whatever the energy which is stored as a kinetic energy form, that will be dissipated during this period. So as such, the machine will lose all its energy during this region actually. And as such, the machine will reach to the steady state. That is possible. And if the two areas are equal, so as I said that accelerating area becomes equal, then that is your stability limit. But it is also possible that you can reach a steady state even for a condition when A1 is less than A2. This is also another case, that it is not always that is the limit actually. This is the stability limit, that A2 becomes equal to A1. That is the limit. But if in case A1 is less than A2, even in this case, steady state can be reached here. And thus, this angle now we call it as critical clearing angle, and it is denoted by delta C. So that means it will be this angle for which the system can get to the steady state condition after having been disturbed. So it will define a angle. It will define an angle for which the line or the circuit breaker should get reclose the line. That means the line should be reclosed by the operation of the circuit breaker, for which stability can be achieved following the disturbance. So then in that case, we substitute delta C is equal to delta CR. So that means that is the limit, maximum limit actually of angle variation. So we change it from delta 0 to delta CR, and then again delta CR to delta R. So we integrate this. So we can then calculate the critical clearing angle from this relationship. And again, this angle, critical clearing angle, also depends upon equality of the areas, and that's why it is referred as equal area criteria. And thus A1 minus A2 is equal to 0. So because the two areas are equal, then definitely stability is achieved. So remember one thing from the discussion, as in this case, A2 is more than A1. Even in this case, steady state can be achieved. All right, steady state can be achieved here, but not necessary that you always have A2 being made equal to A1 to get the stability, not always. But if you take this case, then in this case, it will be always an unstable case. So that means A1 being greater than A2, it will be always an unstable case. But this case can be a steady state case here. And this is always, obviously, it will be a steady state stability. So here we have now, that means, so now from with this case, we're defining this critical angle. So now we want to say what should be the time of operation of the circuit breaker for which the angle increases from delta naught to delta CR. We want to know what should be the critical clearance time. That means after how many cycles the circuit breaker should reclose the line. And this we refer it as critical clearing time. So what does this critical clearing angle or mean actually? Because we are interested to find out, to know the maximum time that the circuit breaker may take for opening and thereby reclose. Actually, we should be more concerned about critical clearing time rather than critical clearance angle. Because critical clearance angle, because the angle is associated in the machine rotor part here, generator rotor, and it is very difficult to know what is the position of the rotor inside the generator machine, right? It is very difficult. But this angle, accurate estimation of the rotor angle is difficult. So what we do, because we are interested in the time of operation of the relay actually. So why not we estimate the time rather than focusing on clearance angle? And that's why we are more interested to know what is the critical clearing time of the big breaker rather than clearance angle, which we define it for rotor rather than that. Because this we cannot estimate more accurately, but for the breaker we can know it, because breaker operating time we know. If I say fast operating breaker, so if I say it is of 1.5 cycles, 2 cycles, or 2.5 cycles, so we know that this is the operating time of the breaker. So we know that. So thus the critical clearing angle is independent of inertia. Critical clearance angle, it is dependent on H, right? And we can and it will vary as this parameter varies here, right? And considering this period where we have the fault occurs, that means when at the instant when the power, electromagnetic power, electrical power becomes zero, at that instant during the period, I mean here, when the power, electrical power becomes zero, then this movement, that means of angle, it will depend upon inertia, as we write here. So from the previous relationship, this acceleration of angle position, it is now actually a function of what is the steady state constant mechanical power and what is the inertia constant here, right? Now, then as you move to the next one, then we integrate the above equation, and then with initial acceleration being 0, with that means d delta by dt, and we integrate this part, and then we can know from further integration leads to what is the angle change, because this is known to us, what is the initial operating angle, we know to this is known to us. And then this term, this is your angle, and it is given by this relationship here, omega s by 4h, and mechanical power and time square plus initial angle value. And if we replace this angle, because this is actually a function of time now, right? So if we write this angle, so if you want the final value of angle now, right? If you want the final value of angle, then we replace here by this one. And then this time we replace by critical clearance time here in the above equation, in this equation. Then we can write what is the value of TCR here. So we can, I think we can say that delta CR minus delta naught, and with this expression under root of it. So this is your now the expression, the equations to calculate what will be the clearance time here, critical clearing time for the circuit breaker operation here. So we have one example given in the slide, and I think you should try to solve that. Now here we have considered SMIB system, and initial operating point is PM is equal to PE here, and when the circuit breaker opens, right? So that means electrical power becomes 0, right? And during this period, the real power becomes 0, and find the clearance angle here, critical clearing angle. So I think from the previous example, we have calculated delta naught, and then we get what is the value of angle in radian, and here it is in degree. So then maximum power transfer. It is from the previous question actually, if you refer. So we have it the value of voltages and the reactance part here. So following that, we have done the calculation here. And then finally we calculate what is the critical clearance angle, and then we also do calculation for time based on the previous relationship here. So you can refer this example, and then we move to the next one. Now in the previous example, we assumed that we had considered the same system, right? But we assume that the fault takes place at this. That means, because when the fault takes place here, then in that case, this is a complete bus bar. So you have the circuit breaker on bus bar, right? And as such, the power flow in this line and the power flow in this line reduces to 0 with the previous example, right? But if I take a case where the fault takes place in midpoint at one of the line, there are two circuits here, but fault is at one of the line. Now, if I say that this line is something 100 kilometer, 200 kilometer length of the line, right? This is 200 kilometer. Now, the instant fault takes place here. It is at this point. So the instant fault takes place here, then power would continue to flow, right? And then again, the instant fault takes place, the power will continue to flow from this bus bar here. It will continue to flow from this bus bar to this point. Now, this will be a very difficult case. Now, for this, when we have to estimate, draw the equivalent equilibrium diagram, the equilibrium criteria, then we consider, we obtain the equivalent circuit out of this one single line diagram. So what we have written here, excitation EMF, and then the reactance representation and the reactance of the lines, and then on the infinite bus bar side, right? So we have this equivalent circuit. So now this is the complete equivalent circuit or the inductance of the line. If I say this inductance of the line is 0.5 J 0.5 here, right, in per unit, okay? Then if it is at midpoint of the line, then on this side of the line, it will be 0.25, and on this side, again, it will be 0.25. So thus, the reactance X21 or X22, I can write it as J 0.25 and J 0.25. And thus, we have to get the equivalent of this circuit representation now, right? So for this situation, here in this case, we say that the fault is clear by opening this line. All right, we say that the fault is clear by opening this line. Remember one thing, we do not want power interruption in this line. So that means we want the continuity of the power flow in this line when the fault takes place here. You get it? So if I say that there was a total power flow of 1000 megawatt with the two lines, then if the fault takes place at the midpoint of the line, we have to ensure at least 500 megawatt power flows through this line. So though there is a reduction in the amount of the power flow, but we want to at least have 50% of the power flow with the healthy circuit line. So it is this one. So thus we want the opening of only that line which is associated to the fault occurrence. We do not want to open this line, all right, because the fault is on this line. So that means here we have to identify the line, which line has the fault, and we have to interrupt that line only, not this line. So in this case, we want to understand what is the stability and then what will be the fault clearing time here. Now for this situation, now just see, this is the P delta characteristic before fault here. All right, before fault, this is your P delta characteristic here. Now, that means before the disturbance, before the fault, both circuits were there, and the power was at this one. So because at this point, this is the operating point, because PM is constant and PE is here. So the PE is equal to PM and with angle of delta naught here. And this is your rotor angle position now, right? Now operating point is this one. Okay. Now if the fault takes place at midpoint on one of the line, then the operating point will move from A to B. In this case, remember, fault does not become zero, because fault is at one of the line and it is at midpoint. So thus there will be a power flow with the remaining healthy line. So that means you will have a continuity of the power flow with this line. Power reduces, but still the power will flow with this line here, right? And as such, the operating point now drops to the point B from A here now, right? But operating point drops here, but PM at this case, PM is more than PE, because now the PE is this one. So because when the fault takes place, P delta characteristic is defined by this one, because this is the characteristic we say during the fault period. So P delta characteristic is this one now, which is defined. And as with this case, because at that instant, T is equal to 0 plus, fault takes place, so the operating point drops to the point B, but the angle we say it is still delta 0, right? And then but angle will now, because in this case PM is more than PE, so what will happen? Angle will increase here. Angle will change instantaneously. So what you have here, angle now is increasing. Angle increases from delta 0 with respect to time now in second. So this is second. So angle will continue to increase because PM is more than PE, and rotor accelerates to the operating point. So now what happens? Rotor will accelerate, and thus let's say it increases here, and then the P delta characteristic reaches to the point C here now, right? Drops to this point, and then it's just here. And then let's say that when the delta has reached to this point, when the rotor has increased to this point, and with the P delta characteristic be defined by this one, defined by this characteristic, at this when the rotor has increased to this angle, now you close the line. Now you close the line. That means circuit breaker. So that means when the angle was increasing, fault gets over, and then circuit breaker recloses the line, the second line where we have the fault. So it recloses. So that means now it's with this one after the post fault here. It is this one now, right? And now fault circuit is tripped now. Fault circuit, what we have, actually it is tripped. And then operating point will shift to the point D here, right? And but in this situation, what you have it here, PE is greater than PM. PE is greater than PM, and rotor accelerate. But PE, because this is a PM, so rotor will accelerate. So rotor will continue to increase. It will continue to increase because rotor speed is more than your synchronous speed here, and thus angle delta now it will increase, let's say up to this one. So it continues to increase. Let's say that now we have defined delta m. So that means beyond this point, rotor angle continue to increase with respect to time up to the angle value of delta m here. So this is because on this axis it is your delta m. So with the angle continues to increase delta m. Thereafter, what you have actually this one. But after that, when the rotor angle reaches up to this point, then it will start coming back. So it will come back. All right, because after this point, what happens? PE is more than PM, and thus the power is not deceleration. But rotor continues to increase, but it is a deceleration area. So the it will increases, rotor angle increases up to this point, and then again it will come back. So after the post fault, what you have it here, operating point moves from D to E here, such that area 2 now become equal to area 1. So this is your area 1 now here, right? And then at this point, that means rotor speed becomes equal to synchronous speed. As I said that rotor, because when the point was here, rotor speed was more than synchronous speed. And when the point moved to this point, it was more than the synchronous speed. But as the rotor angle increases beyond this point, rotor speed falls, and at this point, rotor speed becomes equal to synchronous speed here, and thus at this point it is the speed synchronous speed, and then delta is equal to delta m here, and then what we have it here. As I said, rotor will deaccelerate, and now the speed will further go down. Now rotor angle will come back and deaccelerate, and then again it will come back to point D now, right? And but this is the case without damping. Normally, in the case of synchronous generator, we provide dampers to damp out the rotor angle oscillations as of this shape actually. So as in this case, it is possible that if there is no damping provided on a generator, this rotor angle will oscillate, but it will not be a continuous oscillation, but it will decay down to its own property actually, right? So it will not continuously oscillate for a finite period, but it will decay down. So now in this case, as shown, if I say that because here I have said that the clearance clearance is at this point here, but if in case rotor angle is allowed to increase to a larger value, let's say that it is now we define an angle here which is more than delta C1, right? Yeah. No, it will not stop here at D. Just see, if you look at this D, no, because at this point we have the closing actually, right? Because it was this point. Yeah. Now in this case, one of the line is restored back, right? One of the line is there, right? So it is possible that new operating point is somewhere here. It will be at a larger angle. It could be, and PM remains same here. It will be this one. Because this is the P delta characteristic post fault. This one, P delta characteristic is this one. So it is possible that P delta will change to that means delta will change to this one here, and the new operating point is somewhere here. It can be this one in that situation after fault, right? Okay. Okay. Now let's see. Here in this case, depending upon the operating time of the breaker, and considering that, okay, this could be the fault period, let's say fault period of 50 milliseconds, 60 milliseconds, or 100 milliseconds. So if the fault period is 50 milliseconds, that means how many cycles? Is this 2.5 cycle of 50 hertz, right? Because one cycle is 20 milliseconds. So 2.5 means 50 milliseconds. So this is the fault duration. And if your breaker reclosing time, let's say it is 3 cycle or 4 cycle. So that means after the fault gets over, circuit breaker will reclose. So that means fault period is, if I say 50 millisecond, and then circuit breaker operation reclosing, it is, let's, if I say it is at 3 cycles, so that means at 60 millisecond, right? So that means fault gets over in 50 millisecond and circuit breaker will reclose the line at 60 milliseconds. So this is more than fault period. So thus I can say that fault is reclosing. That means the circuit breaker is reclosing somewhere here, right? So remember one thing, circuit breaker cannot reclose the line during the fault period. No, it can never. Circuit breaker will reclose the line only when the fault gets over. So we say that the breaker operation time, reclosing time, let's say 4 cycles, so the 5 cycles or 3 cycles. So in that case, we have to assume that the fault duration is less than these cycles, 4 cycles or the 5 cycles. We have to assume that. And then accordingly, we have to say that the circuit breaker will it will reclose after this much, this many seconds, or it will be, that means after this much change in the angle. We have to estimate that. Okay. No, circuit breaker reclosing is here. It is here, right? I say that at this instant fault is over, and then circuit breaker recloses here, right? And when it recloses, then the power will flow, and then it changes over here. The line is reclosed back. But rotor angle will continue to increase up to this point. Rotor angle does not stop at this value when the line has reclosed. It will not stop. It will continue. It will, in fact, it will continue to increase beyond this point, as shown over here. Rotor angle continues to increase up to delta m here. It continues to increase up to this one, and then again it swings back. So if you look at this one, if you look at what will happen, in fact, rotor angle swings back here. So that means a rotor angle increases to the maximum value, and then again it reaches, crosses here. It crosses here. That means it will come here. It will possible that rotor angle reaches to this delta 0 point, right? Because at this instant, what we find here that after this much time period, rotor angle reaches to, let's say, 30 degrees, because this, let's say, the initial angle was 30 degrees. So it reaches here, but rotor angle continues to oscillate. So that's why it is said here, no damping. Then rotor will oscillate for few cycles. It will oscillate. That's what it refers here, right? Okay. Now, if in case let's say that you had a delay in the operation of the circuit breaker, and let's say that you have an angle, that means you have the reclosing of the line at an angle greater than delta C1, as over here, greater than delta C1. Now, in this case, what happens here? So if I say that now if you have the closing of the line at this angle, where you have delta C2 is more than delta C1. Delta C1 was somewhere here, but due to the delay, let's say, in the operation of circuit breaker, so circuit breaker operates here and the line is reclosing here. So in this case, what you find here, that rotor will swing, and rotor will swing to the point where you have the intersection of P delta characteristic and PM. So if you refer to the previous slide, we have it here. We have defined delta M. So because just here, Yes, I think you said that how we say delta m, because we are during this period. During this period, what we have here, in fact, it is up to this one, because here rotary speed is more than synchronous speed here, right? It is more, and when the rotor moves this period, rotor speed falls. In fact, if I say rotor speed at this instant is 1520 rpm. All right. If I say at this instant rotor speed is 1520 rpm, and as the rotor moves to this point, rotor speed will drop. So it will become 15, 18, 15, 15, 15, 10, 15, 9, 9, 15, 8, 15, 7. And at this instant, when the rotor speed becomes synchronous speed, then delta will not further increase. Do you understand? So at this instant, so thus the delta m is defined at the angle position where speed becomes equal to synchronous speed. So the instant when speed becomes synchronous speed, then delta becomes delta m. That's the point here. Okay. Now, if you here you have the clearing at this angle, but if in case you delay the clearing, let's say that you have the circuit breaker operation delayed, rotor angle has increased, and as such rotor speed has also increased. Let's say now it has increased to 1530 rpm. So when you have reclosed the line, because there is a delay now, because during this period it was acceleration, so rotor speed has increased to 1530. Previously it was, let's say it was 1520, but because of the delay in the operation due to the acceleration, rotor speed is above 1520 and it has reached to 1530. So let's say that rotor speed has reached to 1530 here, and now during this period, angle will increase, but rotor speed will drop. So at this instant, it is 1530, and rotor speed will drop to 1525, 1520, 1518, 1515. But it has not reached to synchronous speed even when the angle is the previous value. Now, in this case, it is possible that it is somewhere here. Just see, rotor speed will become equal to synchronous speed when PE becomes equal to PM. So at this instant, when the constant line coincides with the PE delta characteristic, at this instant, rotor speed will become equal to omega S, synchronous speed. Then it will not actually. So in that case, this is the area what we have defined now. So that will be the limit actually. Okay. So remember the limit of area 2 is by delta m, and limit of delta m is at the point where rotor speed becomes equal to synchronous speed. That is important here, as referred in the slide over here, this one. So that defines delta m. So as in this case, delta m is somewhere here, but if you have this case, right, then area 2, what we have it here, is now less than area 1. It is less than area 1, right? And then in that case, the operative point reaches here. Now whatever the energy which was gained during this period, it is not released during this period, during the deceleration area, right? And what you have it here, actually speed is still greater than omega naught. Let's say it has reached here. In fact, angle delta has reached here. In fact, at the instant when the PE becomes equal to PM, still speed is more than this one, right? As a result, delta will continue to increase. It will continue to go beyond. Because in the previous case, when we have said, at this instant, we said that we assume that delta m is defined at the instant where speed becomes omega s, right? But here we say that because of more acceleration, because of more energy gained, because there was a delay in the operation of the breaker, so there is more energy gained during this period. And then when we have reclosed, the acceleration, deacceleration area or the region was smaller. And in this case, rotor speed could not drop to, it could not, because rotor speed was more, and it could not change to, it could not drop to omega s here. And in this case, even though we have it here, PE is equal to PM, but still omega speed is cannot. So in that case, it will continue to increase further. And as a result, what you get actually, rotor angle is increasing now. It will be increasing here. Right. And in fact, beyond this point, when you look at here, PE is less than PM. PM is constant. So PE is somewhere here. Beyond this point, PE will be less than PM. PM is this line. And then rotor will, what will happen? PM is more than PE. If let's say your angle has reached, it has crossed this point E, let's say somewhere here or somewhere here or somewhere here. Now in this case, PE is less than PM. So that means it is again acceleration. So here you had acceleration when PE was less than PM, but here you had PE more than PM, so you had deceleration. But if the rotor angle crosses the point E here, because rotor angle why crosses? Because its speed is still more than synchronous speed, so it will cross. And as it crosses, PE becomes less than PM, and as such again it will be an acceleration here. And then rotor angle continues to increase, and this will lead to the synchronism here. And that is the case where you have an unstable. So rotor angle continues to increase for a long time. So that means it will not swing back. It will not. Not go back here. So if you have the delay, that means if you have a delay, and that means you have allowed the angle to increase to a larger value beyond the critical value. Let's say because of the delay in the operation of circuit breaker, then it is never possible to get area 2 become equal to area 1, and then it will be the case always unstable. Okay, any query here? Right. So here I have an example for you. I think the slide which I have uploaded on the MS Team, or I have it in the Moodle, there is a slight change. But in fact, what you have to do, you have to get a equal criteria for a case for a fault on one of the line. As in fact, it is a sending end here. Okay, you have a fault at this end here. In fact, this fault, it is to be here actually. Okay, it is to be here. And then we'll find out the stability for different clearance time. So if I say that clearance time with an angle of let's say 80 degree, all right, clearance time with the fault angle increase up to 80 degree, clearance time with the fault angle increase to 90 degree, or the clearance time with the fault angle increase to 110 degree, or with the angle up to increase up to 120 degree, right? So when it will be stable, when it will not be stable, you have to tell me. And again, remember one thing, it is said that the fault is clear by opening the circuit breaker at sending, and with the circuit breaker 2, the circuit breaker 2 remaining open permanently, this one. So this line will remain open permanently, remember one thing, after the fault clearance. And circuit 1, this one is stored back for power flow. Because if you remember, in the previously what we have discussed, that when the fault is at sending end, then the power becomes 0. Okay, the power becomes 0. That means here, If you want to get the equivalent circuit, let's say that there is a three-phase fault at one of the line, and let's say that it is a permanent fault. Let's say that it is a permanent fault, and then circuit breaker in fact opens the line permanently. It will not reclose the line. Okay, so in fact during the fault, the equivalent circuit becomes this one, and then during the fault, this is the equivalent circuit from the generator side. And when the fault, after the fault, that means post fault, as I said, this is a permanent fault, so circuit breaker will not reclose this line. This line is completely removed. There is no reclosing of the line back. Then the power, as I said, during the fault, because this is ascending end, fault is ascending end, so during the fault, power will become zero. All right, power will become zero. So that means power at this instant during the fault, it would be zero. But after a certain time, this line, in fact, it is removed permanently. But after certain time, this line will be back. This line will remain connected, but this line will be removed permanently. Okay, so you have to draw the P delta characteristic for this one also. Okay, so yes, it is given here, but the only thing is that you have to consider, because I have shown there is a mistake here. I have to show the fault here. Okay, it is here. The fault is at this point. So get the equivalent circuit with the fault drawn on this part. So this F, what is shown here, it is to be here. It is to be here. And you have to draw the equivalent circuit. So in fact, this discussion is just the mix of the previous fault cases that we have discussed, right? And here I have some examples to show you how the generator rotor angle changes. Now, if I say, let's see, if I say the clearance of 0.1 second, 0.1 second means how many millisecond? 100, right? So if in case the fault is cleared in 100 millisecond, that means 5 cycle of 50 hertz. So if in 5 cycles fault is cleared, so this will be the swing of rotor. This is the black line. But if in case there is a delay, in the clearance, because in the previous slide what we have shown here, we have said that there is a delay in the operation of the circuit breaker, clearing of the fault. There is a delay, and that's why you have an unstable case. So if in case, let's say fault clearing is 200 millisecond, so what you find here, that rotor swing is more. There will be more rotor swing here. And if I say that there is further delay in the operation of circuit breaker, clearings of the fault, let's say 300 millisecond, then it is never. So that means you find here that the rotor angle continues to increase just from the first swing. Yeah. So that means this is the case of a unstable case here. This is the unstable case. That means if the clearance, fault clearance time is increased, then rotor angle may swing to unstable case here, right? And here we have some more examples. In fact, I will just to show you, because normally if there will be always oscillation in the system and in the generator rotor, all right, there will be always. So as shown here, rotor angle variation and with respect to time here. Now, in fact, we have to provide damping effect. So that means we need to provide a damping torque so as to damp out the rotor oscillations. So here I have just some examples. So normally we have the use of automatic voltage regulator and power system stabilizer. Just see, as I said, rotor angle is the angular difference between the main field MMF and the resultant MMF factor, right? So that means it is something related to field excitation. So if in case by some means you are able to change the field excitation when you have a rotor oscillation, All right. So using this device, we can change the field excitation during the time of oscillation. So if we have this use of these devices, then we find that rotor angle will have an oscillation, but again it will damp out here.
So,
But if it, yeah, I stop,
like,
I think. Yeah.
so we have another class right now.
Yeah. So this is my last slide. So have a look to it, okay? And then with this we will end with the this chapter now.